Hey, good morning. In this lesson, we will talk about additional topics on equations of order 1. So let's begin with integrating factors found by inspection. Doon sa study natin ng first order linear differential equation, nire-rewrite natin sa standard equation yung folded natin, and then after that, minumultiply natin siya ng integrating factor para yung left side ay maging exact differential ng product. And then by doing so, mas mapabilis na yung paghanap natin ng solution nung first order linear differential equation. So meron tayong sinusunod na step-by-step process doon na nilinaw natin dun sa study natin. However, it is not always the case because sometimes the integrating factors can be found by inspection. So, titignan mo lang, usually ito yung mga common exact differentials na nakikita natin, itong apat na ito. We have the derivative of a product, the derivative of a quotient, and the derivative ng arctangent, y all over x. Okay, however, although mas mabilis itong method na ito, yung inspection, lalo na kung sanay ka na, dahil wala naman tayong sinusunod ng process, uh, ang disadvantage nito is kailangan maging keen observer ka. Dapat magaling ka mag-inspect at makita mo kaagad ma-recognize mo yung mga gagamitan mo ng common exact differentials. And it comes with practice din. Kailangan sanay ka na para ma-achieve mo yung mabilis na pag-solve ng differential equations using inspection ng integrating factors. So let's practice and solve example number 1. For example number 1, sabi dito, we solve the equation y dx plus x cubed y squared dy. So basically, ang una mong gagawin is i-distribute mo yung dy doon sa kabilang term or sa pangalawang term. Dito na tayo magsulat sa gilid. So we have y dx, copy mo lang, and then i-distribute natin yung dy. We have x dy plus x cubed y squared dy equals 0. So immediately nakita mo na yung first two terms, y dx plus x dy, actually constitute to a derivative of a product. Remember, the derivative of xy equals x dy plus y dx. Pero dahil parehas naman positive at addition, nakabaliktad lang siya dito. Kinauna lang si y dx at saka si x y. But basically, these two terms will simplify to the derivative of xy. So we can now compute or simplify that to be d of x and y. Then, para sa kabila, we have x cubed plus y squared dy equals 0. So dito na part, pag nag-integrate na tayo, wala tayong problema dun sa first term, which is the derivative of xy. However, for the second term, naka-dy lang siya and meron tayong kasamang x cube. So, kailangan mawala siya. Okay? So, sabihin nyo, basically, edi sir, pwede tayong mag-divide ng x cube para mawala siya. Pwede naman. However, uh, itong first term, syempre, i-divide mo rin ng x cube. At kapag dinivide mo yun ng x cube, nakita mo na derivative yan ng xy. Meaning, dapat functions din ni xy yung makakasama niya para ma-integrate mo siya ng directly. So, hindi pwedeng x cube lang. Uh, you notice na derivative ni xy yan. Parehas yung degree ni x and y. So, kung mag-divide ka ng x cube, dapat mag-divide ka din ng y cube para parehas lang at pwede mo siya i-integrate. Pero pag nag-divide ka dyan ng y cube or x cube, y cube, ganun din yung i-divide mo dito sa kabila. Yan. By doing so, pwede nating i-rewrite itong first term to be the derivative of xy divided by yung x cube, y cube ay pwede rin nating express as xy cube. And then on the second term, makakancel na yung x cube. And then, however, dun si y squared all over y cubed, meron pang maiiwan na y. So, we have dy all over y. Pero okay lang naman na maiwan yon kasi y naman siya. At ang kasama niya naman is dy. Ibig sabihin, pwede pa rin natin siya directly i-integrate. Ayan. And then equals to 0. Dito banda, pwede na tayong mag-let ng u equals xy, and the first term will become du all over u cube. And then the second term, dy all over y pa rin. At pwede na tayong mag-integrate directly. Magpa-power rule na lang tayo kasi itong u cube pwede mong i-rewrite as u raised to negative 3. So that means pag in-integrate natin siya, u raised to negative 2 divided by negative 2 plus we have the integral of dy all over y is ln of y equals, gawin ko na si c as ln of c. And then, ibalik na rin natin ulit yung u squared or u raised to negative 2. Palitan na natin si u doon ng xy raised to negative 2 over negative 2 plus ln of y equals ln of c. Or actually, pwede mo siyang gawin ko na lang negative ln of c. Bakit? Kasi mamaya siya yung ita-transpose ko. So pagka-transpose sa kanya to itong negative ln of c, transpose ko to the left, magiging ln of positive c na or positive ln of c, maiiwan si ln of y, and then yung xy raised to negative 2 over negative 2, pag nilipat natin sa kabila, magiging positive na yung negative 2 niya doon sa ibaba. So magiging 2 na ito. Then yung ln of c plus ln of y, kaya ako ginawang positive yun kasi pwede natin silang pagsamahin na ln of cy. Yung xy raised to negative 2, pwede rin natin siyang ibaba. We have 2x, 2x squared y squared. So ibaba mo siya, magpa-positive yung exponent niya, and then i-distribute mo na yung or simplify mo na exponent niya. Ayan. And then, actually, pwede nang yan yung sagot. Rewriting lang. I-cross multiply natin yung 2x squared y squared. And then we have ln of the absolute value of cy kasi that should be always positive. And then equals 1. And this is our final answer. So, mas straightforward siya. I mean, mas madali siya kasi hinanapan lang natin ng paraan. Bale, sabihin na nating freestyle siya. However, yun nga, dahil freestyle siya, wala tayong sinusunod na process. Kanya-kanya siya. So, nakadepende yung success rate nito, kumbaga, sa experience mo, kung sanay ka nang mag-integrate. Pero basically, uh, yung mga ginawa nating integration, basic lang, power rule lang nga siya, tsaka ln. And then, algebraic manipulation na lang yung titira para makuha yung final answer. So, it takes time, it takes experience, it takes practice para ma-master yung inspection. So, basically, kailangan mo lang isaulo itong exact differentials na ito, itong mga common na ito. And as much as possible, kung may makita kang ganyan, ang gagawin mo lang is gawin mong kamukha niya para may apply mo yung exact or common exact differentials na ito. Lalo na itong derivative ng product at saka derivative ng quotient. So let's try pa another example. Example 2. So for example number 2, we have x cubed minus y dx minus x times x cubed plus y dy equals 0. So basically, i-regroup mo muna yan, i-distribute ang kailangan i-distribute. So by distribution, i-distribute natin yung y at saka dx. We have x cubed y dx minus y squared dx. Then itong x dy naman, or negative x dy. So negative x raised to the fourth dy, and then minus xy dy equals 0. And then i-regroup natin sila. na para makita natin nasaan ba diyaan yung may kamukha dun sa mga common differential natin. So what we can do is dito banda, pagsamahin natin si x cube y dx at saka si negative x raised to 4 dy or pagtabihin natin sila. And then ganun din si negative y squared dx at saka si negative xy dy equals 0. Dito sa una, if a factor out ko si x cubed, then we have y dx minus x dy. And then dito naman sa last two terms, i-factor out ko naman si y or negative y. So negative y times matirang y dx and then plus x dy equals 0. Okay, so dito sa second term, meron tayong y dx plus x dy dun sa loob ng parenthesis. So basically, that is again the derivative of a product. Pero dito sa y dx minus x dy, minus kasi yun, hindi siya plus. And syempre, kailan ba yun magma-minus? Kapag derivative lang ng quotient. Diba? Remember, the derivative of y all over x is equal to y, sorry, x all over y pala. Kasi mauna yung nasa numerator, y dx minus x dy divided by y squared. So, meron na tayong y dx minus x dy. However, wala tayong y squared. Kailangan meron naka-divide na y squared dyan. So, magde-divide ngayon tayo ng y squared both sides. So, by dividing y squared, divide tayo ng y squared. Siyempre, i-divide nyo rin yung kabila. Yung nasa equals 0 sa right, kapag dinivide mo ng y squared, wala pa rin yan. So basically, meron na tayong x cubed times the derivative of x all over y minus yung y all over y squared is 1 all over y times the derivative of yung y dx plus x dy is derivative of xy equals 0. Yan. Itong y dx plus x dy all over y squared, hindi yan derivative ng product, okay? Kasi plus yung operation niya. So, sinimplify lang natin yung y all over y squared to be negative 1 all over y. Tapos yung nasa parenthesis na y dx plus x dy, derivative ng product siya. Okay? So, ngayon, um, meron na tayong dalawang terms ulit. Meron tayong derivative of in terms of xy. Hindi natin pwedeng integrate yan directly kasi nga derivative siya in terms of xy. Kailangan nating mag-divide or magkaroon ng over y dito kasi x cube lang siya. The same is true dito sa ating second term. Derivative yan ng xy, y lang yun. Dapat meron siyang kasamang x na same degree niya. Okay, para mag-let na lang tayo ng u and v mamaya. Okay, pwede natin i-rewrite to. So, x dx, derivative of x all over y minus y raised to negative 1 times the derivative of xy equals 0. So, what we want is magkaroon itong first term ng y na same or multiples or functions ng x all over y din dapat. And then itong pangalawa, dapat xy naman siya or functions or multiples of xy. So what we need to do is actually kailangan nating mag-multiply ng certain x raised to x at saka y raised to n both sides para itong first term natin ay magkaroon siya ng y. Pero at the same time, dapat yung i-multiply din natin na x raised to k at saka y raised to n, eh yung second term natin, magkaroon din siya ng x na multiple of function xy, and then yung una, multiple ng function x all over y. So, let's do this in the next slide dahil wala tayong space. So, meron tayo dapat i-multiply na x raised to k, y raised to n multiplied by x cubed tapos the derivative of x all over y And then meron tayo dapat i-multiply kay y raised to negative 1 derivative of xy equals 0. Siyempre yung kabila, kahit multiply natin ng x raised to k, y raised to n, 0 pa rin yan. Kaya hindi ko na nilagay yung multiplication. Pag binultiply natin yan, we have x raised to uh, same base, yung x raised to k at x raised to 3. So, i-add na lang natin yung exponent nila. Then, meron tayong y raised to n dito. The derivative of x all over y minus for y raised to negative 1, x raised to k, y raised to n minus 1. The derivative of xy equals 0. So, para ngayon, makuha natin yung sagot dito, basically, ito dapat, yung first term, since function siya ni xy, dapat ang magiging itsura din yan is xy raised to something. Sabihin natin raised to a. Ibig sabihin, itong x raised to k plus 3, i-rewrite natin as x raised to k plus 3 divided by yung y raised to n, ibaba natin y raised to negative n. And then we have x raised to k, y raised to n minus 1. Basically, dun sa first term, since x all over y yung derivative natin, dapat parehas din yung degree ng x tsaka y na nakamultiply sa kanya. So, basically, para magparehas ang degree, parehas dapat yung exponent ng x and y dito sa first term. And therefore, dapat yung x plus 3 must be equal to negative n. And then, dito sa kabila, yung degree din ni x and y, dahil xy yung derivative natin, dapat equal din yung degree nila. So, yung k din, dapat equal sa n minus 1. So, basically, we have two equations and two unknowns. So, we have k equals, or si n, ilipat natin, k plus n equals negative 3. And then dito naman sa pangalawang equation, k minus n equals negative 1. So pag dikitin natin yung dalawang yan, k minus n equals negative 1. At kapag in-add natin yung dalawa, we have 2k equals negative 4. Kasi makakancel na yung k plus k, 2k, positive n minus n, 0. So, mag-divide tayo ng 2 and we now know that k equals negative 2. And from equation, kahit saan equation 1 man, equation 2, ang n natin when k equals 2 would become k plus 1, negative 1. So we have k equals negative 2, n equals negative 1. Therefore, yung i-multiply natin is x raised to negative 2, y raised to negative 1. Ito yung integrating factor natin. So, ito ang i-multiply natin dito. So, basically, i-multiply natin siya ulit. Ayan, equal 0. So, pagka-multiply, i-add mo si x na raised to negative 2, yung exponent nila, tsaka x raised to 3. So, meron kang x. And then y raised to negative 1, or that is equal to x all over y, the derivative of x, y. And then, dito naman sa pangalawang term, pag minultiply mo naman siya, we have x raised to negative 2, and then y raised to negative 1 times y raised to negative 1, add the exponents, y raised to negative 2. The derivative of x, y equals 0. Or, rewrite natin pa para mas lalong obvious. Meron tayong x, y raised to negative 2, the derivative of xy equals 0. So we can let now bu equals x all over y, and then v naman dito sa kabila yung xy. So we have u du minus v squared dv equals 0. So integrate, we have u squared over 2 minus v, v cubed over 3 equals c. Basically, i-substitute mo na lang yung u and v natin. So, the final answer, x squared over 2y squared minus x cubed y cubed over 3 equals c. Or you can multiply, pwede kang mag-multiply ng xy and so on. Ay, okay. I'm sorry. Let's check that. Raised to negative 2 pala ito. V raised to negative 2. So, pag in-integrate natin yon, magiging V raised to negative 1 over negative 1. So, magiging positive ito. And then, yung V raised to negative 1, iwa 1 all over xy na lang natin. Yan. And pwede nyo pa itong i-simplify. Mag-multiply ka ng xy squared both sides. And you will get x squared plus 2y equals cxy squared. Ayan. Sorry, makalat yung solution. So basically, that's it. So again, ulitin ko, ang crucial dito is the ability to recognize or to inspect the common exact differentials. Kapag na-recognize mo ng tama yun, madali na lang yung pag-integrate at algebraic manipulation na lang. So the first step talaga is to recognize when and what exact differentials, common exact differentials to use. Actually, hindi lang naman common. Kung meron kang makitang ibang differentials, pwede mong gamitin. So last example tayo for this inspection, we have 3x squared y dx plus y raised to 4 minus x cubed dy equals 0. So, first na ginagawa ko talaga is paghiwa-hiwalayin muna sila. I-distribute mo muna. So, yung dy, i-distribute natin. Y raised to 4 dy minus x raised to 3 dy equals 0. Or sige, center ko na nga lang para hindi tayo malito. So, we have 3x squared y dx. Copy-paste lang yon. Dito, yung dy, i-distribute natin. Tapos, gawa natin ng paraan kung meron man siyang kampang exact differential. So, paano kaya magiging ano nito? So, pagtabihin natin yung 3x squared y dx at saka yung negative x cubed dy. Tapos, dito banda yung y raised to 4 dy. Parang, nire-arrange ko lang. Bakit natin ginawa yun? Kasi, kung maobserbahan nyo, okay, kung dahil naka-multiply naman tong lahat, itong 3x squared y dx, i-rewrite ko siya as 3x squared, 3x squared dx times y para makita natin yung obvious. Asan ang obvious dyan? Para mas maging obvious. Meron kang x cube dito. Ilet natin yun na u. Pag dinerive mo yan, anong derivative ng x cube? Di ba 3x squared? Nandito yung du mo. Tapos meron kang y dito. Ilet mo yan na v. Ang derivative ng y, ano? dy. Yan yung dv. So, meron ka actually v du minus u dv. So, ano to? Malapit siya sa derivative ng product or quotient. U all over v. Ano nga lang yung kulang? Dagdagan natin ng v squared. Yung v natin by inspection nga is y. Ibig sabihin, kulang tayo ng y squared para maging derivative siya ng product or ng quotient. So, yun ang gagawin natin. Magde-divide tayo ng v squared, which is y squared. So, mag-divide tayo lahat mag-divide tayo ng y squared, mag-divide din tayo ng y squared. So, we will end up with, itong nasa unang term ay magiging derivative na ng quotient na ano yung u natin kanina? Yung u natin is x cube at yung v natin is y. And then plus, itong y raised to 4, pag dinivide natin ng y squared, meron tayong y squared dy, which is okay because pwede mo namang i-direct na i-integrate yan. So, mag-integrate na tayo. Dali lang. So, ang integral niyan is, of course, pag nagtabi ang integral at d, tatanggalin mo lang yan. Cancel lang sila. And then, yung integral ng y squared dy, power rule lang, y cube all over y equals c. Yun na kaagad. Or kung gusto mong ayusin lang ng konti, mag-multiply tayo ng 3y on both sides. Pag nag-multiply ka ng 3y on both sides, we will end up with 3x cubed plus y raised to 4 equals 3cy. Pero syempre yung 3c, c lang din yun. Kaya cy. 'Di ba? Mas madali siya kaysa yung paggagamitin mo siya ng ano, gagamitan mo pa ng exact differential 'yan. Titignan mo kung yung partial derivative and ganyan o hindi. Kung hindi man ang pinakamalapit variable separable or kung hindi, I think hindi naman siya homogeneous kasi yung degree nito is 3. Ito naman 4. So hindi siya homogeneous. So pwedeng exact siguro siya. No, I think it's exact. Kasi yung partial derivative ng m natin with respect to y is 3x squared. Tapos, yung partial derivative ng n natin with respect to x is also 3x squared. So, exact siya. So, mahaba pa yung pagdadaanan mo kapag exact differential siya. Pero whereas dito sa ginawa nating example, um, or sa inspection, mas straightforward siya. So, I hope may natutunan kayo at nakatulong ito para mas mapadali yung pagsasolve natin ng differential equation. So, this is only part 1. Abangan natin yung part 2, which is yung determination ng integrating factors or basically, yung mga hindi exact differential equation is gagawin natin, ano ang gagawin natin para maging exact sila. So, stay tuned.